Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Ubuntu on Air session. Today we're going to be talking about quality, my favorite topic, and we're going to be sharing a Hackfest with you. So the goal of today is to get some new test cases written, and we're targeting both manual and automated test cases. And there's a link on our QA team wiki. If you go to wiki.ubuntu.com/QA team/Hackfest, you'll see the list of Hackfests, and you can find the one that for today under 2014 07/15, which is today's date, July 15th. I'll paste the link in IRC as well, and that has the list of test cases that we're trying to work on, and namely their Launchpad bugs with tags, and like I said, we'll be targeting both manual and automated tests. So if you are interested in contributing or you're new, this is the place for you. In a moment, I've got Elfie and Leo here with me, and they're going to be covering, Elfie will be covering how to contribute a new manual test case, and Leo will be talking about some autopilot tests and talking about the autopilot helpers and how you can help contribute new helpers to the toolkit. With that said, if you're new again and you don't have Python skills, or you don't have autopilot skills, that's okay. As I said, the manual test cases simply require you to be able to read and write English. So if you do that, you're all set, and we can teach you and show you everything else. For the automated test cases, Python is the language of choice, and we utilize a tool called autopilot, and that's pretty universal across all of our tests inside Ubuntu for tests that are written at acceptance testing level. All right, so check out the page. There'll be more information there. There's guides and written walkthroughs as well as videos that cover this more in depth. Obviously, any questions you have at any time, feel free to talk to us on #ubuntu-on-air on IRC, and just prefix your question with question in uppercase, and we'll get through those as they come in. And so with that, I think I will go ahead and turn it over to Elfie, and he'll start the first demo today talking about how to contribute a new manual test case.
Okay, well, good evening. Before I start, Nick has forgotten that 3 minutes ago we were talking about the fact that I was going to work through a bug that I found last week rather than writing new ones. So
yes, the process is very simple, and that's okay. That's all right.
So yeah, I mean, basically, the process in dealing with a bug is exactly the same as the process that you would work through if you're writing a new one. So my plan is just to work through. It's taken me about 5 minutes to actually work through this bug because it's fairly simple. So I'll just start working through that. This is the bug that I'm working on, and I'll just start sharing the screen as soon as I remember how to do it. Alright, so you should be seeing, I hope you're seeing that now, so you should be seeing the bug that I'm going to be working on. One of the important things that you need to do is make sure that you actually assign it to yourself, because if it takes you more than a few minutes to do it, you don't want to find that somebody else has picked it up and has started working on it at the same time as you are. So I'm just going to assign this to me, which is really simple to do. And now I need to pull the branch. So to do that, you need to use Bazaar. Oh, where's that gone?
Right. So all of our manual test cases are right there, as Elfie's showing you. I can actually link to the project in Launchpad. So
if you can
all the
do
manual
that,
test
great, yeah.
on.
So I'll just get that first. And then open that. Nick, while I'm doing this, do you want to kind of talk through what I'm doing?
Sure. Right. So,
Yeah.
as I said, I'll throw the link here on IRC as well.
Cool.
The repository that Elfie just checked out is from the Ubuntu manual test project, which, as I said, contains all of the test cases that are all the manual test cases, I should say, for Ubuntu and all of its flavors. So, any test case that you might find on any of our QA trackers, such as the ISO tracker, where we report results about images, or the package tracker, where we report results about applications, they're all stored in this project. And so it's launchpad.net/ubuntu-manual-tests if you can't see the link on IRC. And so what Elfie has done is has grabbed the bug that he actually reported last week. For the Hackfest, we have a list of tagged bugs that you can find on the page. Basically, anything that's tagged to do is fair game. And we've actually tagged bugs as bite-sized bugs that we think would be useful for you to jump into if you're new. So go ahead and check out any bite-sized bugs you see, as well as bugs that are tagged Ubuntu, which is another focus of today.
Okay. All right, cool. So I've got the branch. I've opened it up in the file manager, and I've opened the file that I want to work on. So I'll just share that for you. Now, basically what I found last week was that this test case repeats processes that we don't need to repeat. Basically, the first part of this test just asks us to check that Mousepad can save and open save files. Then once we go further down, we're not actually using the saved file. We're running through exactly the same things that we've already done, and it's just a waste of time. So I'm just going to get rid of those parts and finish that off and save it, and then the bug's dealt with.
Hello.
Hey, Brendan. Thanks for joining us. So Elfie at the moment is just modifying. He's demonstrating how to contribute a new manual test case. So what's happened thus far is he's branched the Ubuntu manual tests project, and he has a bug that he found that requires modification of this test case. So now he's literally modifying the test case live here. In a moment, when he's completed, we'll talk about how to go ahead and commit that locally and then upload it, as well as doing a merge proposal and all that sort of good stuff. So for this bit, if you are new to contributing to Ubuntu or new to Launchpad, you might need a Launchpad account. If that's the case, we have a lovely tutorial and video as well on the Ubuntu wiki. I'll link to that in just a second. But essentially, you just need to sign up for an account and install Bazaar locally on your system to perform these steps. So if you're ready,
yeah.
All right, go for it.
Okay, so I've edited the file. That's all saved. So I just need to commit it. It's just I've got the right one. No. Sorry about this.
Okay, so now Elfie's committing locally using BZR commit. So Bazaar obviously is a version control system, and this is allowing him to record the change in his local repository. In a moment, he'll push that to Launchpad, and then we'll be able to propose a merge proposal. So you can see he's pushing to his personal space inside Launchpad. And again, if this is new to you, go ahead and check out the link that I sent on the wiki. It covers Launchpad and MPSR a little bit, and feel free to ask questions as well. But the BZR push command allows him to push his local repository up to Launchpad. Again, don't be too intimidated by this stuff. It's 2 commands to learn. It's not too difficult.
It looks worse than it is, I think.
Yep. If Elfie can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'd say. Okay. There's that. Okay. So that's the code. That's what I've just pushed. So I just want to do a couple of things here. Firstly, I want to link the bug report. The number's already there. I know that that's the number for it. So we'll just link that. And that creates a link to the previously reported bug. So I just want to propose this for merging now. Now you can do this without putting the name in here. And one of the test case admins sees it, but I'm just going to put Nick's name against it. But that's Nick is balloons.
You're going to make me review it, okay.
Yeah. You can review it live. Seems like a plan to me.
Sure.
Unless you find something wrong. Of course. So basically, there we go. I've worked through that bug. I've pulled the branch, and it's there waiting for somebody to check. So I don't know that there's much more I can say about that, to be honest.
All right, so we have a question by Shookies. He says, what Elfie did was create a new branch. Elfie, do you want to open code.launchpad.net real quick?
Do I want to open which one?
Code.launchpad.net.
My code?
Well, with tilde with your name after it. So we can see all of your branches listed. And so we can
right. Yeah.
Sorry, I was confusing. So anyways, to answer your question, yes, you did create a new branch. I'm going to have Elfie just show the link inside Launchpad where you can see all the branches that exist that have been created by you. And it also gives you a nice handy... Yeah, there it is.
Right, so that's obviously the only active one.
Right. If you click the code tab, you can see the first tab is overview inside Launchpad, which just tells you a little about you. Second tab is code, and this is what shows you all of the branches that are owned by you. And you can see it shows you how to push up a branch with the bezier push command and then Elfie. And so what he did is instead of pushing it to junk, he actually pushed it to the Ubuntu manual test project. So in your case, your push command will look very similar. Instead of where it says tilde Elfie, you'll have tilde and your Launchpad name, followed by Ubuntu manual tests, followed by whatever you wish. You can call your branch whatever. In this case, he's chosen just to name it the exact same number as the bug, but you can put any alphanumeric characters in there you want. So, hope that answers the question.
Yeah. Do we need anything else from me? I'll just turn that on for a moment. So yeah, I'm kind of done, really. I mean, I'm about in both the on-air and the quality channels if people want to talk to me on IRC. But I'm not sure that I can do much more.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and share.
Yeah.
I guess let me go ahead and share just some of the links, and then, yeah, any other questions, and if not, then we'll go ahead and talk about some of the automated tests. So I'm going to share. There we are. So this is just the Hackfest page, and I just wanted to point this out as it's got lots of helpful links. So we just covered basically this tutorial here. Oops. Which I'll open up. This goes through the same thing that LP went through, more or less. Only if you missed anything, it's going to detail it out for you. There's a video screencast as well. I'm not going to go through the whole thing here, but there's just a few things for you to know. We do have a style guide for how the test cases look if you're curious about what that format looks like. And there's a script as well that will check and ensure the format is correct. So again, that's about as hard as it gets. If you're new to Launchpad, as I said, you can see we have a page for that as well, talking about how to set up an account and doing the basic setup, installing Bazaar, and getting yourself set up on your machine to commit. Again, this is one-time experience, so if you have trouble with this or struggle, feel free to reach out to us. We can help you set it up, and it's something you only have to do once. As you saw, Alfie didn't have to go through any of this. He's gone through this already. So
yeah,
excellent. And then finally, the last thing I wanted to talk about is what we're here for. So as I mentioned, the bite-sized bugs. We've got a handy link there. So here's the bug list under the project, and we've got some bugs here that we hopefully can close today, and hopefully get some people assigned to. So these should all be, as I said, bite-sized. Should all be fairly straightforward to do, and so yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Excellent. So with that, I think we're going to go ahead and move on to talking about specifically what we want to do today. So for the autopilot test, we're looking at writing some new helpers for the Ubuntu UI toolkit. So the Ubuntu UI toolkit is the thing that app developers utilize when they write their applications. So if you have seen or happen to have a Ubuntu touch device and you played around with it, you've seen those applications. Those are all written with the Ubuntu SDK, and the autopilot helper essentially allows application developers to easily test these applications. So I lost my video. Weird. Sorry about that. It allows them to easily test their applications with easy-to-use helpers that allow them to write autopilot tests. So they're also written in autopilot, and again, this is so this will be the next bit that Leo's going to take us through. So I think that's enough of an introduction. Go for it, Leo. So Leo is one of the primary authors and maintainers of all of these helpers. So.
Hello. So yes, I'm part of the QA team at Canonical, and what I do is mostly write helpers for test authors to have an easier life with autopilot. So as Balloon said, a helper it's like a representation of UI element that we write in Python, and it has some actions available that simulate users using that component. A really simple example would be a button. Then a helper for that button would have a click method, and what you would do when writing a test is to select that button and call the click method, and then autopilot will take care of simulating the mouse action. It will move the mouse, put it over the button, press the click button, and release it. So we do this in order to do less manual testing. We simulate users following the most common scenarios and the high-level features of the applications with autopilot. So I'm going to share my screen so you can follow with me. Okay, I'm going to paste this link to the channel. a little outdated. We need to update it with the newest things on the toolkit, but it will serve as an example. Here you will see the documentation for a helper called Quick List View. So we use that to simulate interactions with a list view. There are many list views on our applications. And the method that it implements is click element. So this helper encapsulates all you need to know in order to click an element. Sometimes the element is out of view. Sometimes it's not even created because QML creates it lazily. So what it does is to swipe, searching for the element. Once it's visible on the screen, it performs the click just as if it were a button. So on this page, you will find some of the emulators of the helpers that we have. You will find that it says emulators everywhere. That's the previous word we used to define these things. Now we call them custom proxy objects or helpers. So that's why this page is outdated. Now, okay, how to contribute things to the toolkit. There's a path here. It's probably not complete, and some of the things were already explained by Elfie. So I'm just going to run through this quickly, and well, you'll have it there. If you see a missing step, you can complete it or correct things or let me know. So, well, the first thing you will need is Bazaar, of course, on the same page that Balloons pasted. There are instructions of how to set up your local Bazaar. I'm just assuming that you have Bazaar set up here. So the next step would be to create a workspace. I'm naming it workspace, but it could be whatever you want. Or you can have it even on your home. So once you have a workspace, you can get the toolkit code. The toolkit has a staging branch before pushing the code to release. So we work adding new features or making fixes on staging. Then the toolkit developers take care of landing that and get it into the phone and into the archive. So what you do here is just initialize Bazaar repository. You go to that repository and you branch that staging branch. So once you go into that branch, you will see the current code. Mostly it's QML. There's some C++. That's what the SDK provides to application authors to create their own applications easily. And well, we also provide testability. So these toolkit components have autopilot helpers to also help you write tests for your apps. So a quick view of how to run the tests. You first have to compile all the components. On this step, we are setting up all the QML variables, so you will be able to find the components of your branch instead of the installed ones, in case you already have that toolkit installed. And these two steps are to run all the current autopilot tests. We have autopilot tests for the helpers, and we have autopilot tests for the components. So if you run these, it will take a long time. It will take at least 20 minutes, generally 40 or more. So don't do it now. We can select smaller subsets of tests to run. So that's what this other step is about. With autopilot list, we can show all the available tests that we can run. This part is not needed. And if we give the full path to a single test, we will see it run. This variable helps also finding the toolkit from your branch instead of the one installed, so it's needed in case you made some modifications. Let's take a look at how this runs. So you will see QMLSync opening a window. This is a test for popovers. So what we are simulating here is a user going through a popover and clicking buttons. You will see it's quite fast for a single test, but once you get to 100 tests, it starts being slower. So basically, this is it. This is what we'll be doing: writing the helpers that move the mouse here and make the click, and then confirm that things are as expected. And that's it. In case you have questions, please let me know on IRC, and I'll slow down or go over one particular detail.
Right.
Now that's. Tell me.
I'm sorry, Leo. Go ahead. I thought you were finished.
Well, I have a couple of things more to look at. Okay, we were working on the staging branch. If we want to make some changes, we need to make our own branch, just as Elfie did for contributing his fix to the manual tests. So what we do, well, what I used to do is to make an experimental branch and put all my things there. So this is just a directory, it can be whatever you want. And we need to branch staging. So Bazaar branch, the path to the staging branch that you created before. And here it's the name of the new branch. What I used to do is to name it fix and then the number of the bug I want to fix. Balloons has a list of open bugs that are available for everybody to fix, and then I make a short description of what it does. So this is a little wrong. Okay. Bazaar branch will make that directory, so you need to get into that directory, and then you're ready to start making modifications. One of the really important details of the toolkit is that everything needs to be tested. So no single line of code should get into the toolkit without a test, because there will be a lot of users. Currently, we have a big suite of tests using helpers from the toolkit, and if we don't do this test-driven, then there will be a lot of calls, a lot of things that we are not sure they work or not. So we, strangely enough, we start writing tests for the test helpers. For example, if you have a button helper and it has a click method, what we start doing before implementing that click method is to write a test to make sure that the click method will work as we expect. One test like that will, for example, open a fake application with a big button in the center, and that fake application changes the color of the screen in case you click the button, the color of the window. And in the end of the tests, what we do is to verify that the color changed as we expected. Let me show you a code of one helper I'm currently writing. So you won't find this on staging because I'm working on it, but you will find it on my branch. It's already pushed. I will give you the link soon. So this is an example of a test for the helper. It checks that if we select a value that's outside of the valid range on a slider, an exception will be raised. So this is really useful when you are debugging failures on tests. Maybe you assumed that the slider will have a bigger range than it has. So autopilot will show this message on the log, which will make it a lot easier to understand what's wrong. It's just a small example of that. So once you have a test written, you can implement the method. So you go to the actual module that will be exported and used by the test helpers. Let me show you the corresponding one for this. So it starts as a simple Python class. It's important that it inherits from this base class. This is what makes the communication with autopilot, but it's all low-level detail. You just need to make sure that it has the same base class. And you define methods in it. Python is really simple, and this code we are making is even easier because we're just doing basic things. We don't have to take care of a lot of efficiency or a lot of parallel things. So you will see that example that I mentioned on the test is this branch of the code where it checks if the value is less than the minimum of the slider. It will raise an exception. And that's how we do it. We write one test. We make sure that that test is failing because there's no code implementing it. We fix the test, and that will give us one helper. And we repeat. We do this as many times as we need for as many code paths that we have. But at this point, you really shouldn't worry about it. Balloons and Brendan and we will be available on the channel in case you have questions with the process, in case you need a hand. We can even do some pair programming to help you get started.
Awesome. Thank you, Leo. And yeah, as Leo said, the goal of today is to get some test cases written. So I know Elfie is chomping at the bit as well. So if you're interested and want to write either a manual or automated test case, we're all hanging out on IRC right now. Brendan is Brennan. I don't know how you would say it with it. Elfie is Elfie. Leo is Elopio, and I'm Balloons. But yeah, if you just ping anywhere in the channel, we'll see it. Speak up, and we'll be happy to help you out. We've got some targeted bugs that would be easy for you to work and to do. So we're not going to make you jump through hoops or anything like that. If anyone has any questions, I should answer some of the questions that were asked in the video before we end. But I'm not going to hold everyone here forever. We'll be in the channel after this is over. So, anyways, so Shuki asked a good question, talking about is it necessary to use the newest staging instead of autopilot from the default repos? And so essentially, to write manual test cases, it's not imperative that you are running the development version of Ubuntu. In this case, the current development version of Ubuntu is Utopic. So as testers, as quality people, normally we're trying to always run the latest development version. But if you're not, writing manual tests is not impossible. It can still be done. You just have to be careful to make sure you're writing is reflective of what the development version might exist if what you're after is the development version. In other words, if you're writing or editing a test case for the installer, you want to make sure that you check out the latest installer from the image to make sure what you're writing matches up to that. But that doesn't require you to run Utopic on your desktop. You could write it from a trusty desktop. That's no problem. For automated test cases, it's really important that you are running the development version, as all of our tests generally are targeting on development, and in this case specifically today, looking at the helpers, the framework is still evolving and changing. It's a fast-moving target, so you definitely want to be running Utopic, and that will make sure that your toolkit is up to date. You have the right version of autopilot and all that good stuff. So for automated tests, Utopic, or in other words, the developed version of Ubuntu. If you're writing manual tests, it's not necessary, but it's still helpful. Now it's time to ask. If not, I hope this little demo was helpful. Again, check out the wiki page for the Hackfest. It has lots of good links with tutorials that go even more in depth than what we've covered today. You can read them on the wiki; they're helpful. There's also video versions of most of what you can find on there. We also have the bugs that we're wanting to hack on linked. So we'll be, like I said, we'll be around for the next several hours. Come ping us. We'll be on Ubuntu on Air or our usual hangout in #Ubuntu-quality. So.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add in closing?
No, I'm good.
They're a quiet bunch. So thanks, Brendan. Thanks, Elfie. Thanks, Leo. Thanks, everyone, for watching. So let's get hacking. I'm gonna go start on some helpers, and I'm sure Elfie's gonna be doing the same thing. I've got a review to do, so keep me busy. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Cheers.